process. I'll give you a little overview of sort of how the balloting process works. And also before I do that, I'll talk a little bit more about what SpedPac has done in the last year and the efforts that we've done to try to reach out to more parents and get more parents engaged. For some of you, this may be a repeat, but please indulge me because every time we have a meeting, we have new people that come to the meeting, so I want them to have the benefit of that information, but also because we put all of the meetings on YouTube, and each time we have different viewers of that, so we're really trying to reach as many parents as possible. So to the extent I repeat some information, please forgive me, but again, it's just in an effort to reach as many people as possible. So this evening, John Beer is going to give us an update on special education. We've asked him specifically to update everybody on extended school year since that's fast approaching, and also the issue with the IEP completion and the team meeting processes. Okay? Thanks.
Thanks, John and Carolyn. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, John.
It's good to see all of you tonight, and many of you, I get to see you every month here, which is particularly nice. I wanted to make sure that I introduced the two members of my staff who are here tonight. Well, let me first make sure everybody knows that Mary Tamer is here. Mary, our school committee member. Did you already say that?
I was going to have her talk next, but now
oh, okay.
I
I blew her cover, I guess. Sorry about that. Mary's one member of the committee that is often here and pays a lot of attention to the work we're trying to do and in special education and the needs of families. So I think it is great that she's here, and sometimes other members of the committee are here also. With me tonight is Natalie Ake, who I introduced a couple of months ago. Natalie is both a parent of a child with disabilities in the Boston Public Schools, a very young child, and she's a new member of the administrative staff of special education in Boston. She's a supervisor in our middle school K-8 unit, and as is the case with all of our supervisors, she is a member of a team of people supporting special education and student services in all the middle schools and K-8 schools of the city. She's also a specialist in our department. Her specialty is family engagement. Makes a lot of sense. She's usually here at these meetings on a monthly basis, so this is a time when you can connect with her. But you can also reach her at our offices at Campbell Resource Center. So if the issue that you want to work on with us has to do with your engagement with our schools and with special education, or if it has to do with helping us understand how to do a better job with families in general, Natalie is our point person now. So you can always call my office, but some of you know that when you call my office or send me an email, you get into a big pile of responses that I need to make, and I work at it every day, but I don't get to everything. So Natalie, you would be able to reach more directly and more quickly, and she has direct access to me whenever she needs that. Her phone number is 617-635-8599. That's the main number at Campbell Resource Center, and they can find her in the building. She's often out in schools, so she won't always be in the building, but she's your point person on our staff at this point. I also wanted to introduce Shamil Muhammad. Shamil is one of the newest members of our administrative staff. He is our new Director of Planning and Development, and he brings to our staff for the first time a deep expertise in data analysis and utilization of data and strategic planning and problem solving. He's already being extremely helpful to me in the development of a number of our initiatives that we're moving toward in the future. He is our main contact with a couple of critical departments The first one for you is transportation. So we do have, and Maggie's here. Oh, I forgot, Maggie Bruneau is in the back of the room. Maggie is our manager of operations in special education. And she has been for the last year our point person on transportation, and she spends a good part of her life in the transportation department. Shamil will be heading up our relationship with the Director of Transportation and the Director of Research and the Director of the Budget and the Director of Information Technology. So he's going to be our senior leader in all areas related to operations in the school district. And Maggie will be a member of his staff. So as we finish this year and enter the summer, and then enter a new school year, what we all know is that transportation can be a main challenge to a lot of us. So we will now have, going into this school year, 2 people who will be working directly with you and with me and with the transportation department. So you can reach Maggie Bruneau directly, Manager of Operations, at 617-635-8030. That's our offices at Boston Land Academy. And you can reach Shamil. He actually works, he's a transient worker at Court Street right now. I'm giving him an office yet. But you can reach Shamil through my office. The number there is 617-635-9234. Talk to Patty and make sure that she gets a message to Shamil. We'll let you know what his actual office phone number is when he gets one.
Joey, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Ginny, I dealt with transportation issues this past year, so I just want to clarify what the process is going to be this next academic year in terms, because what we were doing is collecting those transportation issues and passing them on to Kim Rice last year. Is that no longer the process that we'll go through, or?
No, you can still do
Okay.
that. Kim is still a senior administrator in operations, and she's responsible for the whole area of transportation.
Okay.
But Shamil is her counterpart in my department.
Okay.
So
Right.
the new director of transportation is Carl Allen. Wonderful guy. Really, I think going to be tremendously effective. Kim is his boss.
Okay.
So Shamil and Kim and Carl Allen will all be working very closely together from the point of view of solving systemic problems that don't get solved. If the issue, however, is an issue today about the bus today, you don't always have to get to Shamil. You can go directly to Maggie. Maggie does the running around in and out of transportation on a daily basis.
Okay.
So I think one of the greatest frustrations for parents last year when we went through the beginning of the year was it was hard to get a resolution of a problem. You could get a hold of somebody and tell that person what the problem was, and you could even get to talk to a number of people in that chain of command. Maggie will be the frontline problem solver on transportation issues for our department. Shamil will be working closely with Carl Allen and Kim Rice to solve the problem systemically so it doesn't happen again. I'm thinking, I think one of the issues you and I talked about last year was the securing of young children using the seatbelts in the vehicles. And that became a major policy problem for the Boston Public Schools. When something is a policy problem, Shamil is going to be dealing with it. And our job, you know that I tried to run around and do some of that, and I just didn't have enough time to do everything I was supposed to do. I now have a partner, and so whether it's a problem that happened on the bus this morning, or it's a systemic issue like nobody's willing to buckle my child into the van, you can go to any one of us and get us to work on it. We're also trying, going into this next school year, to make the commitment that if you contact us by phone or by email, we will be back in touch with you within 24 hours. I couldn't promise that last year because it was Patty and me, but we've reorganized and bolstered our staff so that we can get back to people immediately. So that, I just want to make sure that. So ESY, extended school year. How many families here already know that your child will be participating in extended school year? Okay, great. Assignments for extended school year will be released tomorrow morning. So you will get a written notification starting tomorrow and over the next few days, because it'll take us time. There are about 1,200 students, so it'll take us time to make sure all those assignments are correct. And it'll come to you in the form of a letter identifying what site your child's been assigned to, who the site supervisor is, how to reach that person, what particular program they're going to be in, what the schedule is, what the location of the school is. The only piece that won't be in the letter tomorrow is what's the transportation arrangement. You will get a separate mailer from the transportation department. So if you don't get notification of your ESY program by next Friday at the latest, please call Shamil or Maggie. Say, I know my child's going to be going to ESY, it's in their IEP, but I haven't received the notification yet. Get that information to them so they can go into the system and find out what may have happened. If you don't get a transportation notice within a couple of weeks telling you what the, I think they tell you what the route is supposed to be. They identify the route, the pickup location, the time. If you don't get that within a couple of weeks, make sure you call Maggie or Shamil and let them know that. We'd like to get all of this taken care of, everything clear within the next couple of weeks. And finally, IEPs. So, sure.
Hi, we just had the interpreters come in, so if anybody needs interpretation services for Haitian Creole or for Spanish, the interpreters are here, they're at the back of the room, and obviously we just want to make sure that anybody that needs it has the benefit of it. They've just arrived, so that's available if anybody needs it, okay?
So many of you may know at this point that over the course of this year, there has been a developing backlog in the completion of meetings and the completion of IEPs. And that backlog developed over the course of the year because we, a year ago, tried to make a change in the job description and the responsibilities of what are called coordinators in schools. Our attempts at making the change we wanted to make was blocked by the Boston Teachers Union. When that happened, it extended into the block, extended into the fall, and by about November, a backlog started to develop. It took us, as a school district, a very long time to come up with a solution for that problem. We have come up with that solution, and we've invested a great deal of extra money and time in getting all the meetings held and all the IEPs completed and in your hands now. So if there's anybody in this room whose IEP is still in arrear, you're still waiting for the meeting and the IEP, if you could let SpedPac leadership know if you want them to use the form, or
yep,
okay. So there's the standard form. That if you let me know who your child is and who you are, we will put those issues at the top of our problem-solving list and make sure that they're taken care of right away. Or if you have friends who are in the same circumstance and you want to tell us who they are, we'll work on that too.
the issue forms are also available on our website.
So thanks to the technology that your leadership has developed, you can go to the website, the SpedPac website, and there's an issue form right there. You can fill it out online. We have already restaffed the schools for next year. We've increased the allocation for coordinators in schools, so we will not have a backlog next year. We still think we were right about our proposal to the BTU, and we're going to keep pursuing it. But it's been blocked by the Boston teachers. Any questions on that issue? Yes.
When it comes to the IEP meeting, it seems to be a disconnect or probably a lack of communication between the coordinators and the changes that are being done in the system between, in terms of the letters or the disabilities, the A's, the F's, the O's, and what sort of guidance is being given a training for the coordinators to get?
So we've just completed a series of planning meetings, and starting in September, on the first day of school, your child will have two codes, the old code and the new one. And Shamil is now managing this change, this switchover. We're going to be providing professional development for coordinators right at the end of August and at the beginning of September.
So how would we know where our child will be? If we have an IEP, let's say next week.
Oh, we're still using the old, we're supposed to be still using the old coding system, and those are roughly related to some of the placements. It's a defective system, as we've talked before.
Yes.
So, and if somebody starts to use a different way of characterizing your child, let us know that, because they're not supposed to be doing that yet. We don't want to be some of us switching over and some of us not. So all of next year, by the way, all of our children will have two codes for the entire year. And then at the beginning of the following year, we will drop the old codes. That just allows us to ensure that we don't lose anybody's records. So here's what's important. Even though the current coding system is not very helpful and in some cases disrespectful, we're holding on to it so that we don't lose track of our obligations for your child. The new coding system, and I'm happy if it makes sense at the beginning of next year to actually go over this in detail with everybody, but the new coding system identifies what your child's primary disability is, identifies what their level of need is, low, moderate, or high, and identifies what kind of setting they're supposed to be in, full inclusion, partial inclusion, substantially separate, or totally separate. And with those three bits of information, disability, level of need, and setting, we can do a much better job of planning for your child and keeping track of all of their services, planning intelligently what programs we have in schools. We're limited right now by our own data system, and we're trying to switch it over. If there's a specific issue with your child's case, either see Natalie before you leave tonight, and she'll get it into our administrative process, or fill out an issue form, or do both. It doesn't hurt to talk to Natalie here. Or, unfortunately, I can't stay all night, but so you won't be able to catch me in the hallway. But Natalie will be here, so you can talk to her. Other questions or comments? Please feel free, if you've got a problem in the operational area, like transportation, please feel free to contact Shamil or Maggie. Don't hesitate. And you know that Patty's always in my office, and so if something isn't happening, you need to make it happen. Make sure Patty knows that. She'll move on. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. It's great to see everybody. And we'll